A deadly anti-Semitic terror attack struck a Jewish festival in Sydney, Australia's Bondi beach. It killed 16 people. Authorities say it was a deliberate attack on the Jewish community. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese faces increasing pressure at home and criticism from Israel over rising anti-Semitism. And joining me now is Washington Stand reporter Casey Harper, who has been following today's story. Casey, what are authorities saying about this terror attack? How, and for that matter, how is Australia responding at this point?
Well, thanks, Jody. Police say that two shooters, a father and son, actually opened fire at this Jewish celebration of Hanukkah with more than 1,000 attendees. 15 people were tragically killed at the scene, and the father was later shot dead by police, bringing the total to 16. Victims range from children to the elderly, and dozens were injured, including police officers. Prime Minister Albanese called it a horrific anti-Semitic terrorist attack and pledged increased security for Jewish communities. Secretary of State Marco Rubio condemned the attack, saying anti-Semitism has no place in this world. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu criticized Australia for failing to act against rising anti-Semitism. Here's what he said after the attack.
On August 17th, about 4 months ago, I sent Prime Minister Albanese of Australia a letter in which I gave him warning that the Australian government's policy was promoting and encouraging anti-Semitism in Australia. I wrote, "Your call for a Palestinian state pours fuel on the anti-Semitic fire. It rewards Hamas terrorism. It emboldens those who menace Australian Jews and encourages the Jew hatred now stalking your streets. Anti-Semitism is a cancer. It spreads when leaders stay silent. It retreats when leaders act. I call upon you to replace weakness with action, appeasement with resolve."
Jewish leaders have warned that the attack did not come without warning, as threats and vandalism targeting Jews have surged since 2023. Authorities say the younger gunman, 24-year-old Naveed Akram, was previously monitored by Australia's Domestic Intelligence Agency for ties to an Islamic State cell, just highlighting the attack's terrorist links, Jody.
Casey, this just leads right into another very concerning investigation that's taking place in California now. What do you know about that foiled bomb plot that was to take place on New Year's Eve and the rest that has taken place?
Yeah, that's right, Jody. It appears we're dealing with an attempt at anti-Semitic violence right here in America. So 4 people have been arrested over a foiled bomb plot linked to a far-left extremist group called the Turtle Island Liberation Front. Authorities say the group, which describes itself as pro-Palestinian and anti-government, planned to target multiple locations, including 2 companies and U.S. immigration agents on New Year's Eve. Here is what the first U.S. attorney said earlier today.
The individuals were arrested on Friday, December 12th, when the group attempted to construct and detonate IEDs out in the desert.
Officials say the plot was coordinated through a signal chat called Order of the Black Lotus, where members also discussed further attacks in the coming months. Prosecutors expect additional charges as this investigation continues, Jody.
Wow. Well, turning now, Casey, if we can, to Capitol Hill. I know there's a key health care deadline that's just right around the corner, and House Republicans are pushing for a conservative reform plan as the Obamacare subsidies are set to expire very soon. So do you know what's in the bill and what else Congress is going to be dealing with this week?
Well, Jody, the GOP healthcare bill is focused on free market reforms as these temporary Obamacare subsidies everyone's been talking about expire at the end of the year. Now, GOP leaders say those subsidies created during COVID use taxpayer money to support coverage that includes abortion and transgender procedures, making an extension unacceptable without major changes. Now, the bill extends association health plans and adds transparency rules for pharmacy benefit managers, PBMs, steps that Republicans say will lower costs through competition. Conservatives oppose extending subsidies without spending and policy reforms, while some moderates want just a short-term extension. Meanwhile, the Senate is expected to hold a cloture vote today on the National Defense Authorization Act. Now, with no agreement on Obamacare, millions of Americans could soon face higher premiums, Jody.
Has there been any reaction from the White House to this GOP plan, Casey? And do we know how officials at the White House and so forth are responding to some potential implications of this proposal that the GOP is putting forward?
Yes, Jody, we do actually. So earlier today at the White House, President Trump once again criticized Obamacare, asserting that its subsidies are benefiting insurance companies rather than the American people. He elaborated on his concerns in this clip.
You know, the insurance companies are making a fortune. They're up 1,700% and more. And they're taking in hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars, even trillions of dollars. And Obamacare gives you terrible health care. Just so you understand, Obamacare was set up, and I said it right from the beginning, for the benefit of the health insurance companies, of the insurance companies. They're making billions and billions of dollars.
Now, this is expected to be a highly debated and closely watched issue on Capitol Hill this week, Jody.
All right, Casey, thank you so much. I always appreciate you keeping us up to speed on so many stories taking place. We appreciate it.